Welcome to Waiting on the Trade, a comics book club for people who can't keep up with monthly comics. I'm Matt Ledger.
I'm Patrick Fitzgerald Fleck.
And I'm Catherine Prince.
This month we're talking about Lucas Wars, a look at George Lucas's early life and the origins of Star Wars by Laurent Hotman and Renaud Roche. Now, in case you need a refresher, Lucas Wars shows us how a rebellious young kid named George Lucas became the creator of one of the most successful science fiction franchises. Spurred on by the success of American Graffiti and the support of 20th Century Fox's Alan Ladd, Lucas sets out to film a sci-fi epic that will make kids dream again. But before Star Wars can become part of kids' dreams, Lucas and his team have to get through the nightmare that is production. Kat, welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you.
You get to tell Patrick the stories he's been waiting for of how we ended up reading Lucas Wars and how you love Star Wars much more than I think he thinks you do. So I'm pretty excited for that.
If it's any, it's more than I thought she did. So
it is a percentage, Pat. It's so high, the percentage.
My God, what?
Well, Patrick is under the impression that I hate Star Wars, but it's complicated. I guess you could call it a love-hate relationship at this point.
I mean, everyone's there, so I understand.
But, yeah, so this book, I didn't even intend to read it. Honestly, Matt just picked it up from the library, and I saw it sitting on the counter. And I picked it up, and I read a random page, and then I read the next 5 pages, and then I couldn't put it down. So, yeah, it's not about Star Wars per se. It's about the making of Star Wars, but it's still, I don't think it's a stretch to say that this was literally an edge-of-your-seat exciting book at times. Really well written, really well illustrated, and just a really satisfying story. I don't know how often the weird artistic kid wins out over the greedy bullies in real life, but it certainly happened here. And it made me want to rewatch Star Wars: A New Hope. So there's that.
But that's not your favorite Star Wars.
How did you get into Star? Kat, you don't understand. I had zero idea that you liked Star Wars at all.
All Pat is here for is to learn about your Star Wars fandom, Kat. We can talk about the book after.
All right, well, let's begin. I guess I'll say the reason I wasn't interested in this book until I picked it up and saw how awesome it was. I guess I needed to read this because for a while now, if I think about George Lucas at all, I think of him as the guy who ruined Star Wars. And that's not really fair, I guess, after...
It really isn't.
No, yeah. There's some parallels to the story, I guess. But okay, so Star Wars. The OG. For purposes of this podcast, I will not be referring to the prequels or the sequels when I say Star Wars, unless explicitly mentioning prequels and sequels. So this is A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So, believe it or not, these were my favorite movies as a kid, at least for a while. When I like a thing, I kind of go hard obsessing about it and then move on. And Star Wars was my thing. So here's some evidence. These movies got re-released in theaters when I was in second grade or so. And I remember in school, one of our recurrent assignments was to write about what we did over the weekend. And these were just supposed to be little 1 or 2 sentence entries written in messy kid scrawl about, I don't know, eating ice cream or playing with your friends or whatever. But the weekend that I saw The Empire Strikes Back, I wrote out a scene-by-scene synopsis of the entire movie, which was basically a long-form essay that took up a huge chunk of my notebook. So yeah, it was very exciting. And as you know, that one ends in a cliffhanger. So we ended up buying the whole original trilogy on VHS. Nice. And of the 3, Return of the Jedi was a particular favorite of mine, to the point that I wore the tape out and it broke.
Me too.
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will admit that Han Solo was...
Ewok people? Are you both Ewok people?
As a child, yes, I guess so.
Yeah,
my tastes have matured since then, but yeah.
They're
You don't
great.
have to apologize for it, Pat. You could remain an Ewok first if you want to.
It was an entertaining film as a child, okay?
I remember that was like a plot point on How I Met Your Mother about like Barney Stinson had this whole theory that the only people who like Ewoks are people who watched that movie as a kid.
As a kid, yeah.
Yeah, so then he's like dating this girlfriend who doesn't like the Ewoks, or she does or something, and he thinks she's way older than she says she is.
That's awesome. I had no idea, Kat.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Um, yeah, and I guess another.
Oh, go ahead, Kat.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No. If you want to go, I feel like I know what you're gonna say, so keep going, please.
Oh, I was gonna start talking about soundtracks.
Oh, okay.
Good.
That's not what I was hoping for. So I am gonna
Okay.
say my thing then.
Yeah, I had in my notes that you might actually bring this up, so sure.
Oh, I was gonna ask Pat about his Star Wars thing, but now that I've been
Oh.
given permission, can you tell Pat about the Nub Nub dance?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, Ewoks?
Nobody but you is referring to anything that is called the Nub Nub dance.
Well,
I
we
was
got
just-
it entered into the podcast record now as
Oh,
being called
no.
the Nub Nub
I mean, the
dance.
victory song that they switched later on?
How do you eat? Oh, don't even tell me about that. Because again, I'm a soundtrack person and that upsets me. But I made the mistake at Thanksgiving of telling Matt that when I that when I watched Return of the Jedi, I put on a special hat and danced around.
Amazing.
I knew
Yeah.
about the tape, but this part had been a secret to me for like 16 years. And I'm very
Yeah,
happy
it was.
about it.
I mean, I wore it for all the Endor scenes, to be fair, so it was not like my whatever
Is
you
it like
call it.
You should
Ewok
say
ears and
Nub Nub
everything?
dance, Pat.
It wasn't an it was like a I think it was from medieval times.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like one of those wire wreath sorts of hats that had
Sure,
ribbons
sure,
and flowers in it, and I was like, yeah, this is Endor vibes. I'm gonna wear it and pretend I'm on Endor. Yeah.
Anyway, the girl likes Star Wars.
I-
Or did at least. Pat, I was going to ask you, because I think we have had this conversation in the past, but I've forgotten it, and I didn't re listen to our Darth Vader episode before we started recording. How big of a
Yeah.
Star Wars person were/are you? I know you're at this point more of a Trek than a Wars person.
Yeah, I mean, I was really into it as a kid because my parents, my dad in particular, was a big fan. I think they saw a screening of it at the Chinese theater when it was the first year it was released. So
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, and so yeah, my dad really got me into it. Big fan, and similar to Kat, we had a VHS tape of all of them, but the one that I wore out the most is Return of the Jedi because I don't know, it didn't have the heavy themes of oh my god, I'm blanking on the second film,
Empire.
Empire.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, which in hindsight everyone's like, well, that's the perfect film. That's the best one. But as a kid, it's got the Jabba the Hutt scenes with Luke like saving everyone. It's got Ewoks. It's got bigger, better Death Star getting blown up. I mean, come on. But yeah,
I think I was an Empire kid. I'm trying to remember now if I had one that I liked more than the others. And I think it was Empire, like, because I really liked the Cloud City stuff.
oh sure,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Although I think if you were going to ask me like what my favorite set of scenes from the original trilogy was, it probably is like the Jabba's palace into the like desert skiff stuff. That desert skiff fight is really fun.
Yeah, the Sarlacc pit. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I say fun. Leia chokes out a guy with a slave chain.
That's
so I don't know
great.
if fun is the
It's
right.
empowering.
That's the
come
scene you
on.
like, huh?
I mean, it's
You're a
part of
Leia's
it.
bikini guy.
Oh my god, we've had this
Comes
talk.
out.
Pat.
Comes out. Oh, really?
We haven't.
I
Had
do
this talk
remember.
because I'm,
No, we
I'm
haven't.
not a Leia's bikini guy.
Kat, I bought
Yeah.
this for you. Do you mind?
Cat, I bought this for me. Oh.
Oh my.
Ooh. No, I guess just to like, in the interest of fair play, like, yeah, I watched them when I was a kid. We had the like, I think it was like 92-ish. It might have been the same time they did that re-release in theaters, but I don't know. But like, it's the versions that are updated. Like, they have additional special effects and things, but
They
they're not
blink.
the like super far gone versions, if that makes sense. So like,
Yeah. God.
Yes, they are.
Lucas needs to just stop.
We'll get
I mean,
into it.
it's not his anymore to do it with. It's Disney now. But like,
Well,
Kat and I
yeah, I
were
mean,
actually like watching different scenes in the basement last night while we were prepping for the podcast, and like I was like, she was showing me her version of the scene, and I was showing her my version of the scene, and she was just cringing every time like a CGI dancer puppet came on the screen.
yeah.
Like, I would argue there is some stuff in that version that is additive and good. I would not go
Nope.
as far as to argue. Oh,
Nope.
yeah, you're such a hipster. I love it. um, before we get into that, potentially, should we talk about the actual book before we get talk into
Yes.
the morphing movies
Okay.
of it all?
Can
Sure.
I just say, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess this is about the book, but also about the movies.
Mhm.
The One of the reason I think that the movies were so good is the soundtrack, because I'm definitely a movie soundtracks person. Like
Yeah.
a good movie soundtrack is a huge part what makes a good movie, but a great movie soundtrack is satisfying enough to listen to completely out of context of the movie. And the Star Wars soundtrack is one of those great ones, and it deserves its accolades of being the best-selling original score of all time. And reading this and seeing that, like, that was probably the like climax of the story for me a little bit, where he goes and listens to the
John
orchestra
Williams.
playing that for him with John
Yeah.
Williams. Yeah. And to know that he composed that in 6 weeks
Yeah.
is
Yeah, that's
mind-blowing and
insane.
kind of like has given me a little bit
There's
of a complex of what am I doing in my life?
I mean, if you're going to compare yourself
Wild.
to anyone, doing it to John Williams doesn't seem fair to you at
Yeah, it's
all.
No.
bad.
But yeah, I
I,
agree. I'm a huge soundtrack nerd as well, and I think John Williams, like so many series, owe John Williams for their popularity. Like Indiana Jones, and I mean, for God's sakes, Harry Potter without like John Williams, why would anyone? Why would anyone bother? You know?
I will say that page turn in particular, when Lucas is like standing there waiting for the London Symphony Orchestra to start, um, and then you turn the page and there's just the boom, like
Explosion.
that
Yeah.
page turn
Yeah, you
felt
hear it in
felt
your
it
head.
felt like listening to it, right? Like you definitely just hear it right when you turn the page. So like a great use of page turn, a great use of like panel composition, a great use of sound effects. Like yeah, I'm really happy that you said that, Kat, because that's like
I
exactly
mean,
how I felt when I turned the page. Like
I'm
both
not gonna
times I read
lie,
this.
I read that and then I reread it again with the soundtrack playing because it was
Oh
just so
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I think that kind of leads us into discussion of like Roche's artistic choices throughout this. I like the style a lot. Like it's very close to being movie storyboards, at least in my mind, and like I think that's a
Yeah.
Sure.
great choice for keeping the I don't know, like keeping the theme and the this like keeping what you're talking about in the actual art itself, which is a really cool choice, while also letting you do a lot of these famous people's faces without having to get super hyper detailed into it, like just trying to capture the essence, which could
Yeah, it was
arguably
like
be
it
harder.
was simple, but it was identifiable. It was almost like if caricatures weren't weird and deformed, but like actually just conveyed what a person looked like.
Yeah, it's very animated, right? And I think there's
Uh,
a reason that when you picked it up randomly, Cat, like you read a page and then you read five more pages and then you read the rest of the book. Like I think it's very easy to fall into rhythm with this book because everything's so
yeah, it was
smooth and well
storyboarded.
paced.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he did a really good job, especially with like, I don't know, I found the rendering of Mark Hamill's to be really charming. Maybe it's the way he did his haircut or something, but he's always just like, "Yay, I'm on a Star Wars movie," and it was cute.
He does always seem so happy, right? He's just like, "Oh, I'm just happy to be here. I hope they make an action figure out of me someday." Little did
Yeah,
he
and the
know.
like kind of spoilers, but the way the book ends with Mark Hamill just like at his house getting a truckload of merchandise delivered was a really funny way to end
Do you
it.
think he just has warehouses somewhere at this point? Like
I have
Does
warehouses
he
upon
still get them?
warehouses?
That's what I want
I
to
don't
know.
know. Like
maybe
it
they
depends on
changed
his
the
contract.
contract for the
Yeah, maybe by
next
the time
movie.
they got to Empire, he was like, I can't with
I can't
this.
do it. I don't. Yeah.
One thing I really liked about it, is, like, if you've ever tried to write your own material, just, like, seeing this and hearing about all the work that writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting takes is actually really affirming because getting something good is an insane amount of work. So, like, getting to see all the different iterations of that story, like how it starts as a ripoff of a Kurosawa movie and then eventually he figures out what he wants to do with it, with the like chosen one trope. It was just really cool to see how it changed.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
like the different feedback sessions too were interesting where like he'd bring in the different filmmakers or like Marsha would like wake up in the or like I think wake up in the middle of the night and be like, hey, you should change this and he's like, "Oh yeah, I should." Like just all the different points that inspiration and changes came from throughout the process was really enlightening.
How much did you guys know prior to reading this? Like, how much of the creation of Star Wars had you been aware of?
A minor amount, I think. Like some of the
Almost
stuff.
nothing.
Well, so the 92 movies had some stuff at the front of them talking about like all the special effects and how they were made and stuff. So I knew some of
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff. Um, and then in high school, I think it was Becca Traver, who I say her name just because Pat, you know who that is, was like
I do.
had kind of told us some of the like early versions of the story, but I think that was like of the 5 versions that are in this or whatever, I think it was like version 4, like version 4.1 or whatever it is. Like
Oh,
it
sure.
was not version 0 and it wasn't version 1. So like somewhere out there in internet land at that point, someone had an idea of how like different iterations of Star Wars that happened before the movie was actually like filmed, but I don't know if at that time like people had as much of a background in how many different versions of this there really were. He really just wanted to make episode 1 the whole time, right? Like that's really what he
Yeah.
wanted to make. Basically all the parts that Marsha's like, "Hey, you should cut these," are episode 1.
Yeah. I'm like, all this
I noticed
politics
that.
stuff, it's boring. Like, oh,
Let's
just wait.
start the movie with that when we come back and make the prequels. Anyways, I'm getting off topic a little bit. How much did you know about it, Pat?
I mean, just general stuff. I had always heard that his wife was mainly responsible for the success of the films, but I think it was more Empire Strikes Back. I think she was a major part of the editing of that one to make it work, from what I understand.
Interesting.
Because she's
Yeah.
less involved in this than I thought that she would be, at least from this telling of the story.
It
She
takes a
was
lot of
more
different people to make these. People like pin it to one person whose like idea took up most of the
sure.
pie, but the rest of it is other people too. So I don't know if
Well, I
that's
always heard that she like
entirely fair.
rescued, yeah, like she
Yeah.
rescued the story in editing. Like it was a mess until she
I
actually.
mean, that makes sense. Honestly, her instincts, whenever she's discussing the story with him, seem correct and better than his. Like, she's the one, right, who's like, "Hey, you should kill Obi-Wan," and he's like, "Oh, yeah."
Oh my
Like,
god, it solves everything.
yeah.
Simple, we kill the Obi Wan.
Yeah, like the
Yeah, I don't
dialogue
know.
passes from other people, like, that makes sense given the dialogue we get later on when he's given more total control of
Free
that, or
reign.
takes more control of that. I don't know, because like, he obviously has free reign, so I don't know how that breaks down later on, but, like,
Well, he and
um
his wife split, right, at some point.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I think
Later.
that probably had something to do with that. Yeah. Um, was there anything in here that surprised either of you? Because I personally, I had no idea that. Wow, why can't I remember people's names? Han Solo and Leia. Their actual names are
Harrison Ford.
Harrison
Harrison
Ford and
Ford,
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. I
Yeah.
had no idea that they had a relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, that scene where like she and Mark Hamill kiss and then Harrison Ford's just in the background eating an apple was like basically a scene straight out of The Empire Strikes Back. So
Yeah.
I guess that's why they had such good chemistry. And I liked learning that Han Solo is basically like a combination of Francis Ford Coppola and
Yeah.
Harrison Ford himself. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So I was talking to Kat about this earlier. Can you imagine the world for where Christopher Walken is Han Solo? Can you
Yeah, that was
imagine?
crazy. And Jodie Fisher, was that it?
Jodie
As
Foster.
Leia? Foster, thank you. That would be crazy. Like,
Chewie, we
what an
gotta jump
entirely
to
different film.
hyperspace. Yeah, can't imagine it. I'm trying to think. I think That was his wife too, who was like, Harrison has sex appeal, cast Harrison. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
obviously,
yeah,
besides
he
that guy
didn't
he was
want
going
to
around with
because
before. Yeah.
he didn't want to cast anyone that was from
American Graffiti.
American
Yeah.
Graffiti.
American Graffiti.
Which is, I kind of get it, but at the same time, his wife is right. It's like, no one's really gonna care. Plus he had a minor role in it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Harrison Ford's not in that much, so I don't think.
Didn't you say he's like
anyone-
wearing a hat the whole time or something, and you can barely
Yeah,
even
cowboy
tell?
hat. Well, like, because I pointed out, like, in the scene that shows one of the scenes that shows them filming American Graffiti, like, you can see Harrison Ford in the background of that scene, like, very indistinct, but he's wearing the hat and he's got the nose, so you could tell it too. He's in that for a very small amount of time.
yeah, and it is great. The first few passes of the story, you can see, like you were saying, all like the nerdier, deeper sci-fi philosophical stuff that he gets to touch on later on, when
Yeah.
like people have more faith in him making movies that'll sell to an audience.
I mean,
But
or he
that's
just has enough money that he can just make it himself if he wants to. Like,
that's the
Sure.
problem, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
he doesn't write great dialogue. We know
Mm-mm.
this, and after reading this comic, we really know this. So, maybe those prequels that came out around Y2K and, they didn't get the course correct that the originals had because, I mean, the creative teams were different, and maybe nobody felt like they could step up and change what was written when it clearly needed some refining.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, oh, jizz. It's
Ah,
not, some
jizz.
of it's just not like, really?
I
Think
think
about it for a second.
his music predates the prequels, actually. So
It's true.
I know that one slipped through. Maybe the cultural lexicon caught up
a
later,
little
but
jizz got through there. Anyways,
yeah, that's the music they play in the cantina, the genre.
Yeah.
It's
Max
not jazz,
Reba
it's
plays
space
the
jazz.
jizz.
hmm
I believe he plays the jizz box, actually.
Box. Wait, can
Harrison.
I swear?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Okay.
Harrison Ford in particular seems to also have like Marsha seems to have good instincts about like where to cut him off and course correct him, and Harrison Ford seems to have very good instincts of like
Yeah, where
where
he
to
just
cut
like
him off and where to course
tears off
correct him.
the giant Peter
The
Pan
weird
collar, and he's like, "I
pilgrim
shall have
collar or
chest hair
whatever. Yeah.
instead."
The ladies want to see my fur, George. And they did. He was right.
Oh, that was a bad costume.
Yeah, like cleaning up all the dialogue. Like, I don't know. What kind of surprised me actually was Alec Guinness being
Not understanding being.
upset about
Yeah.
dying for a minute. I was like, I thought actors loved death scenes, and like,
He loses half the movie, which
he's
means
not
he
getting
loses the
paid less.
FaceTime. Yeah, but it's also about like being part of the movie, and if you're only in it as a bit part, like
Be
it kind
interested to
of changes
see.
that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Obi-Wan's, like, what does Obi-Wan do after that? Didn't sound like much.
Just kind of stands around. Well, I mean, I think part of it is like the story just kept changing and nobody really knew what the final thing was going to look like. So he
Sure.
was like, "Well, don't cut me out of it because I want to be in more of it."
Which is funny, knowing how much they had to, like, I don't think he wanted to come back for Return of the Jedi, from what I've heard. And especially the scenes where he's talking to Luke and Dagobah, and he's literally just sitting the whole time, like he doesn't even stand for his scenes. It's so funny.
Ghosts get tired.
It's true.
He was tired when he became a ghost, and he's still
He had to
tired
fly
after that.
there himself all the way from Hoth
It's true. My God.
as a disembodied voice. That probably takes some time. I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired.
I guess like the real surprising thing to me is that if you're 20th Century Fox and you don't believe in this movie and you want to just shut it down, I don't understand how Hollywood works, I guess, because why don't you just shut it down instead of
Why they keep
continuing to
stringing
spend money
on.
on it and then just like
Yeah.
stringing it out and then eventually like backdooring yourself into having to buy it essentially? Because like to me, it's kind of wild that this movie got made just for that reason of if the higher ups at 20th Century Fox don't want to make a movie, I don't understand why they made a movie. But I guess there's just
I mean,
so
I
much
think it
money
was
in
like
Hollywood that you just kind of like throw $1 million at, and you're like, oh, we threw 1 million. What's another, like they're pot
it
committed?
was a
I don't know.
combination of like it was a combination of a power trip and greed, probably, where they're just like, yeah, we can mess around with this guy. Ha ha ha, we can make and break careers. But then also they invested a little bit, and if this person really believes in it and they can make some sort of profit out of it, then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, well, we got a decent return on investment there.
yeah. I think it's more that than anything because they saw that he made American Graffiti right when
Hmm.
they didn't believe in that. So investing a little bit early into this project potentially has huge rewards, which it did at the end.
It's almost
So
like they know that their corporate instincts are garbage, but they're
I mean,
not
but like,
quite
I
self-aware
mean,
enough
that
to put
literally
it
is
like,
why they hired Alan Ladd, apparently, is because their corporate instincts are garbage. But like, I
yeah.
don't, there's, I think it's near the end where it's like, I think it's when Lucas gives them that ultimatum of like, sign the contract in the next 2 weeks or we're done. Like,
yeah,
that's the point to me where I don't really understand why they gave him a contract, given how
Matt, Matt,
weird they
you're
were about
forgetting
it.
that this company was on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah, they
Like,
don't make
they weren't doing a good
they don't
job.
make good
This probably
decisions.
wasn't a
Yeah.
good idea.
I suppose. It's just that's so weird. Like it's so much money to a little Midwestern boy like me that just to just keep throwing it at people is like kind of wild, but I think that's the thing I found the most surprising, honestly.
I think it's great and amazing, and I like these like underdog stories of these artistic projects that have like people who believe in it behind it, and how much they have to fight and struggle to get it made. But at the same time, it's just soul crushing that you have to go through that. And like if you look at the state of Hollywood and films today, it's just awful. Like I haven't seen a movie for a while because it's all sequels and all just regurgitated stuff that I
Mm.
don't have any interest in anymore. And I'm sure we're going to get to the state of Star Wars today, but it's not great.
You can make a
Not
Star
since.
War real easy though, Pat. They'll let you make one of those
Oh,
now.
it's all just branding and it's not any kind of substance. And like originality is completely dead.
I think that's an exaggeration, but
I don't know,
I don't
Matt.
know. I'm sure it's still just as hard to make stuff as it seems
It
like this
does
was.
I'm
seem like
sure there
you
are
have
people out there
less,
who want
like
to create original things, but it's the like
yeah, there's less
corporations, the large
iconic
money isn't
movies
there.
now.
Yeah.
They're all just he's right. I mean, like, you don't get, like, those funky '80s like, I feel like the '80s had a lot of really weird original movies where people were trying new things.
Like
Um,
rom-coms aren't even a thing anymore. It's
yeah,
crazy.
well,
That used to be
yeah.
like, I don't know. My
Do
Cousin
you miss
Vinny is one of my
rom-coms?
favorite films. My Cousin Vinny, it's not really a rom-com, it's sort of just a comedy, but my
Oh,
God,
yeah, Marissa Tomei.
it's like a freaking perfect film. More of that. Less Marvel and superhero and all that. Leave off, like, stop doing what you're doing to Star Wars. Just stop and find some original things to pour some money into.
Is this the point where we start talking about the the
We don't
morphing of
have
the
to.
original movie? I mean,
Inevitably. Well, I mean,
Cat
so, like,
wants
this
to. Cat's got a whole manifesto. So
I think you almost have to if you liked Star Wars in the past, right?
I would say yeah, and, like, I kind of don't really like it anymore, but, it's complicated. So, yeah, I was kinda thinking about just, like, what what is happening and how to define it. So, when you're
Sure.
making art, there's always one more thing that you can change, like one more piece of marble you can chisel away, or one more line you can draw, or whatever. Always. And there's a point where you just need to let it go and stop. And I think when you're like at the peak of being an artist, what really entails like becoming a master is knowing when that point is that you stop. Because if you don't, and you just keep picking at it, you might pick it to death. And I think that's how it started with Star Wars, and it's kind of snowballed from there. But okay, so I like compiled some evidence of the sins committed in the remastered versions, which started in the '90s, adding CGI characters that were not there before, changing songs around, which is the most painful one for me. Um, Putting in scenes that ended up getting cut for a reason, putting them back in, don't add anything to the plot, don't need to be there. Oh my god. Having Vader scream no again? Like he rewatched it and was like, I really loved it when Darth Vader screamed no.
You're
We
talking
gotta put a
about
couple of those in here.
That's
Revenge of
gotta
Yeah.
the
be a pretty
Sith?
recent one. No, they put it into Return of the Jedi, apparently,
Return
Pat.
of the
Did
Jedi.
they? What?
He
Where?
chucks the Emperor down that
And he
like
says
hole.
no? Oh,
Yeah,
while
and
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
throwing him?
no,
he's looking at the
no,
Emperor like
look it
lightninging
up.
Luke, and he's like, "That guy is lightninging my boy." No,
He says
no, and then
no
throws him
there? That's
He
so
says it
stupid.
twice.
I will say
He's
some of them,
silent. He doesn't say anything.
Exactly.
yeah, some
So
of
just
these
like you never know what version you're gonna get, and it's almost impossible to find the version that like hasn't been recut in some way. Oh my God. And it says it right here in the book on page 121. Han shot first. He's an asshole. It's what he does. Changing it so that Greedo shoots first, and then people get mad and changing it back again. Like, just don't waste your time.
is this where in the show notes I'm gonna put the snip snap gif from the
But okay, so here's the thing though. Stories evolve over time. Like they always have from back when we were telling them around campfires before written language even existed. So, I mean, that's part of why it feels like we keep hearing the same stories again and again. Like even George Lucas stumbled upon that formula, that golden formula of the hero's journey when he was writing the script. Um, which is depicted on page 56 of this comic. So why does Star Wars feel different? Why does changing Star Wars feel so much more like a betrayal? I would say so A, they're not just movies. Like they're a time capsule of when they were made and the many people who helped make them. And if you were a kid and you watched them 500 times, like what you saw at that time. So changing them doesn't just change them, it smashes that time capsule and it starts to hold them up to a modern standard that they should not be judged by because they were not made in 2025. They were made in 1970, whatever, or 1980, whatever. And B, because these are so visual, I think changing these stories is more akin to changing a painting than a story. So I was looking at like some reasons of this, and I think people seem less uh, um, accepting of paintings that have been changed over time. So, like a classic example of this one is the portrait of Isabella Medici. This is
Mhm.
a 16th century lady who was pretty ugly by modern standards. So, sometime in the 19th century, the Victorians were like, this lady's ugly, but we want to keep this portrait. So, they painted over her until she became unrecognizable. And this has been done to lots of different paintings, like Charlotte Bronte's portrait, and even the nudity in the Sistine Chapel that Michelangelo himself painted has been covered with like cloths and stuff. So, um, yeah, when original art reaches the level of a masterpiece, any changes you make are objectively going to make it worse. And if you change something enough, it becomes like a ship of Theseus situation, and what was originally there is just gone.
What if he thinks he's making it better, Kat?
I think it's not his to change. It
Yeah.
It
belongs to
literally was.
everyone. It belongs to
Once you
everyone just
create
because,
something, it's no longer your like once you give it over to an audience.
but that's, yeah, I mean, and that's what we learned in this comic. It isn't just George Lucas. George Lucas's
This
original
is true.
idea was awkward and it couldn't stand on its own. It needed the support of all these different people. So to go back and say, oh, all these people were wrong, I'm going to add my stuff back in, makes it worse.
I think it'd be one thing if the originals were readily available, but the fact that you have to like scour the internet to find the original recordings of the original series, that's just not cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen the originals in like probably 10 or 15 years at this
Yeah,
point.
since you lost the DVD of Return of
What?
the Jedi that we
No.
had, the return original.
Oh my God.
But like if
So
they're like director cuts or like the Lucas cut or whatever special editions, that's fine as long as like the original untouched. Like the fact that it's so stupid that it's so
Patrick,
rare
can
now.
you tell me if Matt is crazy? Because I think so. So
Oh, here we
as
go.
as he mentioned, I lost after destroying my VHS of Return of the Jedi. I borrowed his, which was the original uncut edition.
So let me back
No,
up a
no, no, no,
sec.
no, no.
Let me say what we're talking about, and then
Let
you
me
can
praise.
go.
I just did.
So when it was some like Black Friday or something, Walmart was selling DVDs cheaply, and they had the editions of the original trilogy that were like the remastered at the time versions and the original versions included on a separate disc. So I
Mhm.
had all of the original versions on DVDs. Kat borrowed Return of the Jedi. You may continue.
Okay, that's what I just said, but sure. So yeah, it has been lost to the sands of time. But Matt wants to have the trilogy. So instead of having two good movies and one remastered movie, he has decided to keep all three remastered movies
And
and
you got rid
store
of the
the
other
good
two?
movies. Yeah,
They were not gotten rid of. They're at my parents' house.
I would say I would combine them so that you have the two originals and then settle for the third one being the remastered
I
version.
mean,
And that's still a complete set. But he's like, it's not a complete set, so I can't.
Yeah,
is
the
the
weird
remastered
completionist.
like, yeah, is it like in a box set or the individual DVD
No,
cases?
just individual DVDs.
We don't display the cases. It's just like in a
No,
That is
they're just
strange, Matt.
they're individual. So the weird
You have it in like a
completionist
CD
brain
case
I
or a
have.
DVD
yes.
case?
DVD. Yeah, they're not. Yeah. So like
Why
I've
would
got
you?
I've
That's
got three
strange.
spots in my DVD case for Star
Uh,
Wars,
yeah.
and so I've
And
got
you would rather
I've got
have
the
the
three
two
movies I have.
inferior films and then
Well, yeah, because I don't have the other one, so like I don't want to
but I
watch
don't
two of the one and then one of
so
the
you've
other.
got
Like I'm not gonna.
2/3 of a good thing and you just toss them out
Nobody
and
sits
go
They're
and
not
for
watches
tossed out
all
there at my
three
parents'
movies in one
house.
sitting.
I watched all
Oh,
6 in one sitting once. It was great.
Oh, I've done that for New Year's, going through all of them. Yeah.
We definitely aren't going
No,
to talk
Cat's
about
right,
Kelly
and you're
Green.
wrong, Matt. I'm sorry. I'm on
I
Cat's
didn't
side for
say
this
I
one.
was right. I'm telling you that this is the way my brain works. It's just like I'm missing the one because my wife lost it. We're gonna throw that out there, and so and so I'm keeping the 3 that are in a set
It would
together.
be one. It would be one
The
thing
other
if you
2
were
are up on the house.
displaying them and like the design on the spine
Oh
looked
no! I
different.
mean, they're just in
Like
a
that,
big
I
old
could
DVD
sort of
case.
understand. But yeah, if it's just in a case, Matt, who? What are you doing?
Being sad that I don't have all 3 of the
Uh,
original movies anymore,
all right. Well,
I'm also sad.
which aren't even my versions. I was gonna say, while Kat was going through the list of grievances, like I think there are some scenes in the '90s version in particular that are actually decent additions. Like
No.
there's a
such as what?
scene. There's a scene in A New Hope where you get to see Jabba because Jabba and Han
You like
talk.
that the Han Solo in the hangar bay? That's such a
Yeah,
stupid addition.
No.
What?
whatever.
Really unnecessary.
They had to digitally have Han Solo get lifted up and over his tail
They made
as he's
Cloud City
walking around.
cooler
Uh,
in the '90s versions. Cloud City has more windows and sky and stuff.
Exactly, but if you go back through and change it, now you're judging it by a different standard. So you can't just be like, look what they did in the
I
70s. It's
mean,
this weird mishmash of like CGI monsters next to like styrofoam puppets. It doesn't look right.
as a kid, I had not
Jawa's
seen the
blink.
original '70s versions. Like the '90, I think it's
80s.
'92. 70s and 80s, whatever. I like
And today,
sure,
It's
sure,
like
sure.
76, right? The original.
What
the
I'm trying to
original, yeah,
say is
but it's
I
in
had
the
not
80s.
seen the original versions. The like 92 or whatever re-releases with the remastered stuff are
Yeah.
like my versions of Star Wars in my head. And
You
I
know,
will
I
say
might
that.
have mine on the. I'm gonna go check if I have the VHS tapes back here. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like so now I guess if kids watch these now, they'll only be able to watch the mega remastered ones, and that'll be their version of Star Wars. And maybe they'll be like, what's the point? Although I guess there's so
I
much Star Wars stuff now. Maybe people don't
will
even watch
say that
these.
like outside of the screaming no that I've just discovered, the only thing that
Mm.
has felt egregious to me up to this point, like now having seen all of the originals and the remastered ones up to some certain point, is the Forced Ghost Hayden Christensen. Like that I don't understand. I don't get it. It doesn't
Okay,
make any sense.
I
Like
agree
it
Oh,
with
doesn't
I
you,
make
hate
but
sense from
that.
a story
completely
standpoint either.
re-recording the song at Jabba's palace with some like CGI monsters,
I hate that.
was not a fan of that. No.
I will
It's
say the
like
original one is better. I don't think it's as egregious as the Hayden Christensen Force
Oh,
Ghost.
it is because if you're like a
I say I
songs
also did
person,
not
it's
watch
like
it
this is
hundreds
wrong.
of times as a child, so I'll throw that out there too. All right, Pat, what you got?
I got an 86 copy of Return of the Jedi right here, VHS.
Oh,
Oh,
I know.
I'm gonna look up when the ones that we had are, so you guys could get to talk amongst yourselves for a second.
This definitely has to be like the second or third copy because I definitely destroyed a few of these. But then it gets into the fact that no one has physical media anymore. Like everyone's just subscribing to Disney Plus to watch their Star Wars. So
I know, and if you still have it, it becomes harder to try to figure out how to play it, and you can't
yeah,
replace it if it gets scratched. Yeah, yeah,
rough.
that's tricky. I guess if you just go to thrift stores and get a VHS player, you might be able to watch some OGs of this stuff, which, my God, the Muppets are much better when they're not in like hyper HD focus. So I'm sure a lot of this like 80s tech was as well.
You just triggered me. The Muppet Christmas Carol. They removed like one of the most important songs in the entire film.
Which one?
What?
Like the really emotional song that Ebenezer's girlfriend fiance sings to him.
Oh
Love is
yeah,
gone.
I learned about that on the internet because I never saw that on my VHS version.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
they removed an entire like the crux of the entire story made into a song, and they remove it. It's like,
it was too serious.
I guess.
That's wild. Okay. All right. I'm coming around, guys. Like before we started recording, I was talking to Kat, and I was very much more like, it's his movie. He can do what he wants. Like you can get the
It's
originals.
not
Like
You
his
can't
movie,
though.
and you can't get the originals. That's why people are upset about it. But it's also like, reading this book, it ends and it's such an exciting thing. But then, like, it's it's kind of dramatic because he becomes the very enemy he sought to defeat. Like, I'm sure I'm not the first person to have come to this conclusion, but like
no, I don't
Sure.
the
think so.
ultimate, like, Disney bought it. Everything they've put out since has been kind of like obvious money grabs. It's the corporatization of storytelling. So, like, in a way, the Empire really did win because Disney bought the galaxy, literal galaxy, and made it part of their own empire.
Yeah, but I mean, this is an underdog story. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like so these sorts of like kind of underdog success story things. I feel like always. I don't know. Did you guys feel like this was very straightforward for the most part? Like I feel like there are more edges that we didn't see here potentially. Like we did kind of see, I guess, George with his weird notepad. Like he's got the notepad from his assistant, and he was like, "This is a blue line. I wanted a black line," or the other way around. But like I feel everyone in this was very one note is not the right word, but like very straightforward, if that makes sense. Did that
Matt,
come across to you guys at all?
Matt, they had to take all these different people and
I
condense
know.
them into a story where you
I
could follow
understand.
them. Like, of course it's a little bit condensed. Yeah.
But like for me that then starts to affect the validity of the story itself too, right? So
I
like
mean,
what
it
else did
is
we not see that like influenced this entire making of Star Wars?
well, like the whole uh, Harrison Ford and oh my god,
Carrie Fisher still.
Carrie Fisher. Like they were talking, like they had intimate conversations in a hotel room or whatever. There's no way that that's actually recorded anywhere. That has to be a dramatic.
Yeah, I mean there's a bibliography in the back of various things. I would assume it's from
Yeah.
one of
It's
their
just like when you're doing anything
autobiographies or
that's
whatever.
like a compelling work of nonfiction, you take a bunch of narratives, you cobble them together into one narrative that makes sense, and you fill in the blanks where necessary so that it's like a cohesive story. Like, if you wanted it to be a research paper, there might be research papers about the minutia, but like for this to be a good story and a compelling story, which it is, and to be followable as a piece of art, like I think they did what they needed to do and it works. I didn't put it down and say, "Oh, but there must be more. What about this other brand of notebook paper that George Lucas was like, whatever, it doesn't matter."
No, that's not what I mean. Like, not like I don't care so much about like the little details. It's just one of those things where it feels like it's very funneled into being the type of story that it is trying to be, and I feel like maybe there's more nuance in there somewhere. I don't know. It's just something I was
There
thinking about.
has to be. I wouldn't. I
I
mean,
don't think
yeah,
it's a very
Yeah, there's
valid critique because again, it is a good telling of the story, but it's just something I was thinking about.
sure.
Also, can we talk for a second about the fact that Harrison Ford like comes to be a good guy for Carrie Fisher and like beat up those guys that were trying to walk her away while she was drunk, and then ends up doing the same exact thing that they
Same
were
thing
doing.
as they were gonna
Yeah.
do.
Like, come on,
Yeah,
guy.
Harrison Ford didn't really come out great, I'm gonna say, in
No.
this. Like, he definitely has a wife and kids back at home, but is sleeping around with Carrie Fisher. So I don't know, not a great look, but
I don't think
what
he
do you
did do what they were planning to do. There was consent involved there.
do? Sure.
I don't know about
She
those
was
other
equally as drunk as she was
I was
moments
gonna say she's
before.
not. When he's like, the lady doesn't know what she wants. If he says that and then does what he does, he's doing the exact same thing. So
Also, she's 19 and he's 32, 34.
True.
yeah,
So I don't know. Iffy.
yeah.
I think I think those were the rough ages of Jane Eyre and Mr. Rochester.
Well,
Oh,
see,
another couple
geez,
that's not
totally
okay.
gross.
Totally healthy couple.
What are we doing the Jade Eyre podcast, Kat? We'll just read a chapter
Oh,
every
you're not
month.
allowed on there.
So I guess, Kat, is there, because you're the one who picked the book, is there anything else that you know you want to talk about, like that we haven't gotten around to yet, that like made it such a compelling read for you?
Um, I mean, no, it was just in itself a good story that did a good job of like both rendering all these different people and condensing a bunch of disparate storylines into one narrative that was really like easy to follow and gripping and made sense. And it did kind of rekindle my interest in the Star Wars trilogy. Although, the whole thing with that is like, yeah, so Star Wars has all this other stuff now, and it's got this big extended universe, and it seems like everything that they put out is just more and more of a money grab. So now, whenever I think about Star Wars, I always need to have some of my mental bandwidth running in the background, devoted to pretending that these other movies don't exist. And that's just kind of exhausting. So like even if it's possible to find the unremastered versions, you've got to like do some gymnastics to make them still be good. So anyway, just like that's kind of what Star Wars has been to me for a long time now, is just like, it's not even worth it, whatever. So it's kind of nice to like get back to the roots of it and be like, oh yeah, this actually was a really cool project that a lot of people worked really hard on, and it changed a lot of things in the industry. And it's a good story. And if I had not read this book, I would not have known about my favorite panel in this whole comic, which is where they're like shooting Jesus of Nazareth in the desert, and then R2D2 goes
R2D2 goes
AWOL,
through.
and
Flying
it's
down
just
the
like
hill.
flying down the hill behind him.
You have a
Oh,
real point I want to get back to in a second, but I also found it really funny that the C3PO and R2D2 actors just hated
Hated each other.
Yeah. Just like, wow, the animosity is real. um, but you actually brought up something that I was thinking about earlier this week, and I don't think we had talked about yet, which is that, like, I think as a superhero comic books guy, particularly, like, you get very used to the concept of liking what you like and throwing the rest out when it's bad or when it contradicts something else that you do like. So
well,
I
maybe
think
that's why I don't like superhero comics.
I don't think that's why you don't like superhero comics, but I think it
Oh,
does
okay.
help with my approach to these sorts of franchises also, where like I can like the things I like, not like the things I don't like, and those are just for other people and that's fine. And I can still enjoy like the original movies. The Star Wars comics also very good. Some of the novels good, some of the novels not so good. Um some of the movies haven't seen them, not going to watch them.
Yeah,
Um
I've still not watched the last whatever it's
yeah, I don't
called.
think anyone on this podcast has that.
Mm-mm.
But
Somehow
the,
Palpatine returns.
but the
Anyway,
Sparkle Foxes, you love the Sparkle Foxes, Cat.
I don't even know what
They
that is.
There's like crystal. Actually, I was kind of researching this, and they made like these really cool, like puppet animatronic sparkle fox things about these animals that live in a mineral cave. But then they
And they were
CGI'd over their
practical.
faces,
Hmm.
so and they didn't look as cool anymore. But anyway, they have their own Funko Pops. So like
No,
apparently
of
people
course they
like
do.
those. I know that was like the point where I was like, I cannot watch this anymore.
It was very cool to see how scrappy this production was from start to finish. Like, again, you think of Star Wars these days and you're like, hundreds of millions of dollars of budget, and they're gonna like
Yeah,
have all these super special effects and blah blah, blah. And, like, it's all kind of just
ILM
like,
is like, yeah, Heroes practical
yeah,
effects. They're great.
yeah, and just like basically built it from scratch on a timeline that was insane and like made it
Yeah,
work.
I mean, those are consistently throughout history the projects that seem to be the best. Like, if you look at the Wright brothers, like they were doing it as a passion project, trying to come up with a machine that can fly. And then the US government was funding this other guy, and he had all these resources, but it wasn't like his
sure.
passion and his thing. So sometimes just like being really invested in it, but not having all the money or all the resources and trying to make it work is what makes it really good.
Just a lot of the restrictions can often actually end up helping in that they kinda I mean, again, there's a bunch of scenes. The one I was thinking of was, like, the Y-wings taking off from Yavin, I think. I think that's in my 1997 versions, which I found them in their 1997 versions. And that's, like, specifically called out as being cut in this because they didn't have the money or
Perfect
time
practical
for
effects.
it. And it's like,
Yeah.
does it need it? Probably not. So, I mean, I
Nope.
get it, but, um I think the restrictions can actually end up making a better product because you keep the stuff that's essential and you get rid of the stuff that's not at that point.
Sure.
Yeah, it seems like they stumbled into the perfect version of Star Wars and they had to go back and there was a guy I worked at in the government office that I used to be a contractor for. He had a an ironic poster that said like, "If it ain't broke, fix it till it is." And this is a pretty classic version of that.
Yeah, I suppose. So everyone's energized to go watch a Star War.
I'm gonna try to find a VCR player because this is the original. It's got runtime of 132, and I guess the newer versions of Return of the Jedi is like 136. So it's the original runtime. So exciting.
No,
There's
watch A
no
New
screaming
Hope.
no's. I don't think I have. Like I say, my favorite was this one. I don't even know if I have New Hope on VHS.
I mean, I can get us the original copy of A New Hope, so
Yeah, I think that that would be a good idea, Matt. And then we can throw the other two away where they belong.
One more thing I wanted to call out while I was flipping through the book and looking at it is we didn't really talk about the use of color throughout and how it's like kind of
Oh
sparing, but when it is
yeah.
used, it's used very well, I think.
That apple scene that I
Yeah.
mentioned before. The red apple was really good.
Yeah, and like C3PO pops up in gold and like every once in a while just like one item that Roche wants to call your attention to on the page is like in color while the rest of it's not. Like I'm looking at the pages here where they're all kind of looking at the script for Star Wars and the book itself that the script is in is the only thing that's in color. It's really good use of color to kind of draw your eye to the stuff that's supposed to stand out and that influences the scene. I
Agree.
think that's all I got. All right. I think with that, we're into the recommendations section of the podcast. Kat, if someone liked this book, what would you recommend to them?
Well, by this point, you should know I'm not going to recommend a Star Wars universe spin-off story here. So I'm going to go off book a little bit, and here's what I recommend. Number one, go and watch the original material again. Don't watch a remastered version. But for the love of
Such a
God, when I say
hipster.
original material, do not watch the Ewoks Christmas special. We're not counting that one.
It's
Huh,
canon, though. George Lucas
uh-huh,
made it.
uh-huh. Anyway, or, if that doesn't appeal to you, or if you, like me, have the entirety of the original movie or trilogy memorized because you watched it too many times in your youth, I recommend a fresh take on it. Um, there, there's this video on
Oh God.
YouTube available for free on YouTube. That's a bad lip sync
Available
reading.
for free. Unlike the rest of YouTube that you've got to pay.
It's
Anyways.
called Seagull. Stop it now. So
Oh,
the
there you
first
go.
time I saw this stupid little video, Matt and Pat were with me, and it's probably the hardest I laughed in all of 2024. Um, I heard that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher watched it together and also thought it was hilarious, so I recommend that.
Was it
But
on
then
our
more
Spotify
seriously,
Wrapped last year? I think it
it
was,
was
right?
our number one song.
I don't think it was our number one song, was it?
It
Oh
was.
God.
It's
You
a
just
short
ruined
song
our
and it was so
Spotify.
catchy. Yeah. Yeah, good standalone song too.
Run, 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 train.
No spoilers. But beyond that, if you are a movie soundtracks person and enjoy things set in space, I also have some recommendations because, again, the Star Wars movie soundtrack was so good, and this book made me think about it. So these are all amazing movies that also have really good standalone soundtracks. Number one, Interstellar, with a soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. Number two, Moon, with a
Mm.
soundtrack by Clint Mansell. And one of my favorite movies, actually, The Fountain, which is also a
Oh,
soundtrack by Clint Mansell.
Cat. Why have we not talked about the fountain
You like
before?
The Fountain?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just gotta save it for our The Fountain podcast.
The
Yeah, there we
Fountain
go.
podcast.
Pat, what do you got?
It's probably the same recommendation I gave for the Darth Vader comic, but if you want to feel like Star Wars is actually good again, please watch Andor. It's the best Star Wars writing and acting, and like it's amazing.
And that's Andor, not Endor.
Correct. Cassian Andor is the main character of it, so it's called Andor. But it goes through how the rebellion is formed up into like it leads directly into Rogue One, which I think is not great, but everyone I talk to says, well, this is the best Star Wars film they've made since the original series. I don't know if that's true. I think it's okay, but it does lead directly into it. And I think last time I talked about Andor, I hadn't seen the second season. I have now watched the second season. It's glorious. Please watch it. It's so good.
I was just looking back. That was your recommendation for the Darth
I would
Vader
assume
podcast.
so. I don't know what else I would recommend.
That makes sense. I also was thinking about how the best Star Wars movie they've made since the original trilogy is not an incredibly high bar to clear, turns out. So, like,
Yeah, truly.
slightly faint praise for Rogue One. Although I did enjoy it. Because I'm one of those doofuses that likes Star Wars side stories. I'm probably not gonna recommend the Star Wars Darth Vader comics by Kieran Gillen and Salvador Larroca just because we've already talked about them at length and they're very good. My official recommendation will probably be there is a series of newer Star Wars novels that
Wait, you're not going to recommend them because you already talked about them? That's like George Lucas not wanting to cast Harrison Ford.
fine, I'll recommend it
Sure.
then. The Darth Vader comics by Kieran Gillen and Salvador Larroca kick ass.
The
They've they've got the original trilogy feeling to them. They fit really cleanly in between episode 3 and 4.
I think Dr. Afra has
Well
her
done.
own spin-off now too. So
Yeah, I mean they've kept that train going for a while in classic Disney fashion, but I think Gillen does a really good job of knowing the assignment for that series in particular. Like it's 25 issues. It starts at the end of A New Hope and it ends before the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, and it tells you a complete Darth Vader story of how he goes from kind of being like very low at the start of that story because he got the Death Star blown up to being like in command such that he can lead the attack on Hoth. Squares that circle a little bit and also just is a really compelling take on the character. So, yeah, you know what, Kat? I will recommend those comics. Screw the novel I was going to recommend. We'll get that next time.
You can recommend both.
No, I only recommend one thing.
Really?
Yeah, I
I
try
haven't
my best.
recommended 4.
I know. Ask me how many you're gonna get in the show notes. It's one.
What?
I only
I'll write
it's
them down
such
for
a long
you.
list otherwise.
So
has
who
to write so many
cares?
words.
You
It's not
can't
even about that.
you can't do that to my recommendations. You can't. How
I'm
dare
sorry, they have to
you?
be edited down because of the restrictions of the follow-up recommendations section. You understand. We're trimming the fat so that we get to a better
It's
recommendations
not
list.
fat. They're good.
I'm
You
sure
can't
George
censor
Lucas
me.
thought the scene where Han goes into the
Han, you haven't even seen
Han.
Stairwares, have you?
I don't know what a Star War is. Why would people be fighting over stars? How do they even get to space? Anyways, that's
closer.
probably good enough for
Are
this
you seriously going to
podcast.
cut all my recommendations? Why did you even ask me?
I mean,
No,
not
you'll
in the
stay-
audio
you'll stay-
version.
You'll say them in the podcast, but in the text version, it's just going to be one, because otherwise we have a list of 20 things, and it's not good. Have you listened to Simon do recommendations on this podcast? It's 15
Cat,
things
you don't
every time.
understand. You see, I take 2+ hours to edit it, and then Matt can't take more than 15 minutes to write up the post.
How
He's
That
being
doesn't
dare
seem
you.
fair.
I
weird.
listened to the entire podcast while I'm writing
Oh,
up the
you
post.
listened to it.
I listened to it too
Wow.
just now.
At 1.33 speed.
Oh, there it is. Truth
That
comes
will
out.
do it.
Well,
for
what's
this
my
month's
one
discussion,
recommendation
though.
going to be then? Seagulls?
Yes,
Yeah,
seagulls.
it probably will be seagulls, actually. I was thinking about it while you were talking. I think it is seagulls.
You can
reminded
link
me.
directly to the video.
Yeah.
Oh, but you can link directly to the fountain.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I can link directly to seagulls.
They're all well. The Clint Mansell ones are, I think I like a little bit more than the Hans Zimmer one. They're
Tell
all
you
so
what.
they're all so good.
Off
Yeah,
mic,
just Hugh
you can
Jackman.
tell me which one you want to be your one
All of
recommendation.
them.
What a power trip. A regular George Lucas over here.
Monster.
I think that's going to do it for this month's discussion of Lucas Wars. As always, if you want to get in touch with Pat or myself, you can email us at waitingonthetrade@gmail.com. Please don't sign us up for a Match.com account. Someone
That
did
is
that.
so
It was
weird.
bad. You can also find more comics-related goodness at mattreadscomics.com. Kat, thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm really glad that you randomly picked up this book and decided to read it because this was a fun discussion.
Yeah,